How's it going, everybody? I'm the best is, the best was, the best ever will be. There have been none before me, there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Shane Kobe, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with your news of the week, followed by your SmackDown and your Raw reviews. And then we're going into a classic Backlash review, followed by your drink of the week, and then the Battle Droid of the week. Let's get into the news this week, though. As a pair of TNA stars debuting for AEW, apparently that is the talk, as the Motor City Machine Guns are apparently very close to making their AEW debuts. I would love to see. I think they would really help bolster your tag team division. I think the Motor City Machine Guns are some of the best tag team wrestlers in the world. So it would be awesome to see them really help add to AEW's tag team division. And who would Shawn Michaels come out of retirement for one last WrestleMania match? Apparently he has made it clear that he would come out of retirement for one and one only, AJ Styles. That would be amazing. That would be, pardon the pun, phenomenal for a wrestling match at WrestleMania. I would love to see AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels have one match, one time only, WrestleMania, to end both of their careers on a high. And who does Booker T think should be in the WWE Hall of Fame? Well, apparently none other than one of the most badass wrestlers of all time, Ken Shamrock. I can't help but agree here. I completely believe Ken Shamrock belongs in the Hall of Fame along with Psycho Sid and Christian. Those are two I would always induct, maybe Owen Hart as well, when the family is finally ready for him to go in. But I completely believe Ken Shamrock belongs in the Hall of Fame. He is one of the best wrestlers, one of the best tough guys of all time. Let's go into SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen. As the SmackDown after WrestleMania 40 kicked off with Cody Rhodes talking about tonight's triple threat match to determine his number one contender, saying he is no longer the hunter, he is the hunted. You would then have the Bloodline come out, and they would arrive without their tribal chief, but Paul Heyman said there were strict orders from their tribal chief on what to do. L.A. Knight, versus Santos Escobar and the almighty Bobby Lashley were next for a triple threat number one contenders match. The winner would go on to face the winner of the later match in the night next week for the number one contendership for the undisputed WWE Championship. It is being called the WWE Championship, by the way. I really cannot say how happy I am that it's just being called WWE Championship. L.A. Knight, was able to pick up the win. After his match, Legado de Fantasma would try to interfere, but the Street Profits would take them out. Rey Mysterio was then questioned about Dragon Lee, and he said the truth of who attacked Dragon Lee will come out. Apparently the talk is backstage is Carlito, and this is leading to a Carlito heel turn. We then get the Bloodline in the ring to cut a promo. The Bloodline would talk about how they do not blame John Cena, The Undertaker, or Jey Uso. The tribal chief takes accountability for the main event WrestleMania 40. Solo Sikoa would then cut off the wise man and says there are consequences to losing and changes must be made. Heyman looked worried, but then Solo turned to Jimmy, gave him a hug, say he loves him and his brother. And then Tama Tonga came out, New Japan veteran, adopted son of Haku. He would attack Jimmy Uso. They would deliver multiple Samoan spikes. Heyman tried to call Roman Reigns, but Solo then broke his phone. Solo then wrapped a steel chair around Jimmy's neck and delivered a hip attack. And basically, looks like Jimmy's out of the bloodline. Tama Tonga, that's an amazing debut, and apparently Jacob Fatu is also on his way to WWE. The Samoan dynasty is alive and well in WWE. We then get a squash match of Braun Breaker versus Cameron Grimes. It sucks to see Cameron Grimes in a squash match, but I guarantee you he didn't think he was going to last. He even said, I'll be shocked if I last a month in WWE, so he's been here for over, 3 years now? 4? Maybe 5. So congratulations to him for making it so far. And I guarantee you they give him a shot, he will go to the moon. We then get Bayley coming out to talk about her performance at WrestleMania 40. Tiffany Stratton would then come out and said it looks like Bayley is about to issue an open challenge. Bayley said she wasn't going to issue a challenge, but she wasn't going to issue an open challenge, but her first challenger wants to be Naomi. Tiffany then said if she can beat Naomi, she'll be the challenger. And there's a lot to go for SmackDown. Naomi would then defeat Tiffany Stratton, and Bayley said she will defend her women's title next week against Naomi. Something tells me this isn't going to be completely cut and dry, and it's going to lead to a fun match at Backlash. We then get Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Jade Cargill would pick up the win over Chelsea Green to cement what she basically did on Raw. Corey Graves then promoted Cargill and Belair as the newest WWE tag team. I can actually really enjoy this. This could be one hell of a tag team. We then get Rey Mysterio, Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles in a triple threat match to advance to next week's number one contender match. It would be a hard fought match, but AJ Styles would pick up the win to stare into the face of his challenger, his enemy, the man he battled with at WrestleMania, L.A. Knight. Yeah. And it looks like these two will collide next week on SmackDown. Very fun SmackDown after WrestleMania. They always try to book some fun matches for after WrestleMania, so it was really cool to see that the storylines that you want to continue, that really kind of you felt didn't get the proper blow off at WrestleMania, are continuing, like LA Knight and Styles, and the Bloodline adding Tonga was just amazing. This guy is an unbelievable wrestler, and again, son of Haku. How could you not be excited for that? Adopted son, by the way. Let's move on to Raw, as Raw unfortunately kicked off with Rhea Ripley coming out in her arm in a sling. She said she's going to be out of action for a few months, and therefore she will have to vacate her title. Fans chanted bullshit. She agreed, and Rhea then relinquished the title. Liv Morgan then came out, and she's being stopped by security. Rhea said she was ready for a fight, so despite her injury, Rhea took out one of the security guards with a headbutt, and then the Judgment Day members hugged her backstage. This really sucks. Rhea Ripley is truly one of the best stars in WWE, and to see her momentum just cut short like this really, really sucks, especially after WrestleMania. But Liv Morgan will get interviewed later, and it looks like she's going full heel mode. And I'm actually for this. I think Liv should win the title. And as a heel, go on a little bit of a run for a couple months. And then have face Rhea Ripley come back on her own revenge tour and take out the woman who took her out. Now, I do want to talk about this injury real quick because a lot of people are blaming Liv online. Apparently, it is a freak injury. Even Rhea Ripley has commented on that. It wasn't because of the chair. Apparently, she just hit the wall, and when she hit the wall in Liv Morgan's attack last week, she just felt something was wrong. And it's just a freak shoulder injury that could happen at any time, so it sucks to see, but Yeah, unfortunately, it was just a freak injury. We then get Sheamus versus Ivar. This old written in my face theme coming back. It's cool to really bring back a little bit of Jim Johnson here for the themes, and I completely think bring him back in. He is also someone I think should be in the Hall of Fame. His music helped define wrestling. So if anyone deserves to go in the Hall of Fame, I think it's him, and maybe a celebrity person going to Hall of Fame for Limp Bizkit. Just saying. Sheamus would pick up the win over Ivar, looking awesome in his return to the ring. We then get Triple H coming out and welcoming Awesome Truth and declaring them the World Tag Team Champions as he debuted the new World Tag Team Championships. They actually do look like the World Heavyweight Championship. Instead of lions, though, they use eagles, more of it. I'm trying to think of the lion eagle thing, where it's the head of an eagle and the body of a lion with wings. I can't remember what it's called. But it does actually look, these do look really cool. I know people are getting them shit online, but they're the Raw titles. That's why they are supposed to look like the World Heavyweight Championship. They're gold, by the way, which I think is a huge upgrade from bronze and silver. By the way, the Miz also would pass Matt Hardy in holding the most versions of a tag team title with 9. We then get a number one contenders match of DIY versus The New Day and the Creed Brothers in a triple threat match. DIY would pick up the win, and our Miz and R-Truth would stand tall with their titles. Thought that was very cool to see. We then get Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile in a nice little match. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell would pick up the win after Indy Hartwell looks to be taking a trip to the heel side with her mentor, Candice LeRae, as she would use nefarious means to pick up the win here. We then get Andrade versus Dominic Mysterio. What a match. Andrade would pick up the win, but Dominic Mysterio delivering a Canadian Destroyer on the outside. Oh my God. Not even on the outside, on the ring apron. Both of the guys would basically collapse to show, like, hey, this move took a lot out of both of them. We then get Chelsea Green and Piper Niven versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven would pick up the win in a tag match that really says there was nothing to really write home about. We then get Jey Uso and Finn Balor in a nice little match. Jey Uso would pick up the win. It was after the match, though, as Damian Priest came to the ring and raised his title in front of Jey, leading to Dominic and JD attacking him, along with Finn Balor. This led to Finn Balor eating a super kick along with Dominic, and Jey Uso running out through the crowd. Now, people were giving Jey Uso shit because Jey Uso was running out through the crowd and a fan was standing in front of him, not letting him move, and Jey Uso kind of like pushed him out of the way. The fan wasn't letting him move. He was trying to move because he needs to keep the show moving. And if the fan's just standing there being a dick, yeah, I can understand him being like, hey, move. He didn't hurt the fan. He didn't punch him. He didn't pull a CM Punk and was like, dude, bang. No, he just went politely, move, out of the way. So, I don't believe Jey Uso deserves any bullshit for this. This is just Jey Uso being Jey Uso. After he would go through, you would actually see Sami Zayn and him just standing outside the arena. And Sami Zayn saying 20 years ago, he came and saw my first show here. And Jay was basically like, go get him, man. Sami Zayn then grabbed the camera and said, you want to see the best wrestling city in the world? Come with me. He then leads everybody through the crowd, takes a Canadian flag, which I thought was awesome. The Canadian flag as he's running through the crowd. They're saying his song. Sammy in Montreal, man, it's his hometown, so you know it was going to be big. Sammy would then successfully defend his Intercontinental Championship against Chad Gable. It was after the match, though, as Chad Gable would turn heel and would lock in the ankle lock in front of Sammy's friends and family and hit a suplex, basically saying he's a heel now. I didn't agree with this. I love a face Chad Gable. So I wish it didn't happen, but at the same time, it was still cool to see. Okay. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I chose a fun show to review. The show that ended the single-branded pay-per-view era after WrestleMania 34. May 6, 2018. Town, Newark, New Jersey, the Prudential Center. Home of the New Jersey Devils, because that's the only team they allow New Jersey to have. Yeah. 14,000 in attendance. Raw and SmackDown together for the price of one. Backlash 2018. This show has gone down as so bad. It kicked off with a kickoff match of Ruby Riott and Bayley in a 10-minute pre-show match. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan making basically their main roster debuts as the Riott Squad. It was an okay 10-minute match. Nothing to write home about. We then get your main card starting of Seth Rollins versus The Miz, continuing their match from WrestleMania, which Finn Balor was involved in. Seth Rollins becoming a Grand Slam champion after winning the IC title and successfully defending it in a ladder match at the Greatest Royal Rumble. He would then successfully defend it against The Miz here in a 20-minute match. The Miz and Seth Rollins, for some reason, always... I won't just say some reason, because it seems like The Miz, he's one of those guys of, if you give him a chance, he can have a good match with anyone. I know people are going to say, the Bray Wyatt match at TLC. I still thought it was an okay match. It was serviceable. He's not going to have a 5-star classic, but he's also not going to have a match where you're like, oh, dear God, that was terrible. No, I always say The Miz has good matches, and you put him in there with a very good worker or a great worker, he's going to have a great match. And I thought this was match of the night. Great match. Seth Rollins versus The Miz. Seth would retain here. Great match. And then all went downhill. Nia Jax in her Raw Women's Championship reign, facing off against the woman she took the title from at WrestleMania, Alexa Bliss. I believe she would injure Bliss here and give her a concussion. One of Bliss's many concussions that would keep her off of TV for a few weeks. She would then return and win Money in the Bank. Nia Jax would retain here and then go on to feud with Ronda Rousey. It was botch after botch in this match. It sucks because the two are apparently very good friends, Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, outside the ring. But, yeah. Nia Jax would retain. And just botch after botch. And the botches would continue with Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. For some reason, these two, to me, just never seem to click. This would be a match for United States Championship. Jeff Hardy defeating Jinder Mahal on his first night on Raw to take the title back to SmackDown. Jeff Hardy would retain his title here after just these two just... It was an okay match, but there was just no chemistry between them, in my opinion. Oh, good. We then get Daniel Bryan in his first singles match back in the company since his injury, since returning from basically retirement, against Big Cass. Now, for those of you who don't remember this feud, I don't blame you. It was a terrible feud. It sucked. Big Cass just couldn't work with Bryan. There was just nothing there. Daniel Bryan would beat Big Cass in 7 minutes. You would then get former Miss Money in the Bank Carmella defending her SmackDown Women's Championship. Remember that? Against Charlotte Flair. She would cash in on Charlotte Flair after WrestleMania 34, after Charlotte beat Asuka to end her undefeated streak. Oh, Carmella would somehow retain the Women's Championship against Charlotte in a terrible match. We then get AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a 21-minute match in a rematch from WrestleMania for their WWE Championship, which ended in a draw after they both kicked each other in the dick. Now, why is this pissing me off? Oh, I don't know, because the match was no DQ. Why? Again, we then get Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a 8-minute tag team match. Again, I ask, why? Bobby Lashley's first match back in the company, I believe. Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman would pick up the win. Nowhere near the feud that Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley would actually have going into I believe it was about a year later when Paul Heyman was in charge of Raw in their last man standing match, which was amazing. And then you get the worst match of the night. Your main event, right in the middle of Roman Reigns face mode, shoving him down our throats worse than The Rock at WrestleMania 18. Versus a heel Samoa Joe who everyone was cheering, who everyone wanted to be a face, who everyone wanted to love, coming back from injury to face Roman Reigns. Half of the crowd would leave during this main event. The other half would chant, "We want our money back." Enzo Amore, who was a recently released superstar. This went as bad as it could, this show. There's one good match on it. This show should be completely forgotten in history. By the way, Roman Reigns would beat Samoa Joe, because why not? He is being pushed as the face of the company without a title since Brock Lesnar decided to finish spam at WrestleMania 34. If I had to grade this show, F. The reason it doesn't get an F- is because of Seth Rollins and The Miz. And that's the only reason. Every match sucked. It was terrible. Backlash 2018 is one of the worst pay-per-views ever. I wanted to review it just because, it feels like everybody else has, so why not me? You wouldn't even get defending tag team champions Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. You wouldn't get the tag team championships on this show. Oh God, I need a shot. How about a melon whiskey shot? 1 part white whiskey, 2 parts melon liqueur, 2 parts sour mix, and a little bit of honeydew. Here's how you make it. Combine the white whiskey, the melon liqueur, and the sour mix, and honeydew in an ice-filled glass. Shake well and mix. Use a strainer and pour the shot into a smaller shot glass. Garnish with a melon ball. Please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not drink if you are under 21. And do not overconsume on alcohol. And now, everybody, it is time for the Battle Droid of the Week. Who should the Battle Droid of the Week be? I did want to point out, by the way, in my Raw review, I like that they are giving women's wrestling a shot on both shows. You had Katana Chance and Kane Carter wrestling on main event the night before Raw, on the Raw after WrestleMania, and now you have them wrestling on Raw. It seems like they're really giving talent the chance to move from Raw to main event and really work out their abilities. I really don't have many. Oh, you know what? Will Ospreay, you are the Battle Droid of the Week. Taking unnecessary shots at just everyone as your company is going down the tubes right now. It sucks to say. I want AEW to succeed. I really do. But Will Ospreay taking a shot at Triple H and basically everyone in the world going, you know you fucked up, right? This guy is really helping make pro wrestling fun again, and you're going after him. It was stupid. It was idiotic. And because of that, Will Ospreay, you are the Battle Droid of the Week. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I've been the big guy. This has been Wrestling Made Simple. Next week, we will keep our Backlash review going. I don't know which one we're going to review next, but I guarantee you, it will be better than 2018. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great week in wrestling.